Have y'all noticed that everything just feels weird nowadays? Every piece of media we consume, from movies, TV shows, and music, doesn't feel like a big cultural moment anymore. They just don't capture the world's attention like they used to anymore. I personally think it's due to the death of monoculture. What is monoculture, you ask? Well, it's the cultivation or growth of a single crop or organism. Hold up, this is not the right one. Aha, found it. A situation where a large portion of the population shares a common experience or understanding of a cultural phenomenon, like a song, TV show, or movie. Think of Pokemon Go, Game of Thrones, Views by Drake, Avengers Endgame. These are just a couple examples of things that took the whole world by storm when they were released and that everyone was talking about. But when was the last time you ever felt the same way you did when these things happened? Why is it that the same kind of hype and hysteria can't be captured today? Everyone and their mother was once in on the biggest trends, and we all consumed the same media. But now it feels like we're all separated into our own little bubbles. I'm sure you've had an experience where someone tried to tell you about a viral trend that everyone was in on, but you have never heard of it a day in your life. And they looked at you like you lived under a rock, but in reality, it's probably due to the fact that you're both on two completely separate parts of the internet.
This just in, a 7-year-old has just been hospitalized after participating in a viral trend that involved eating human feces.
When the hell did we start doing that?
That's a huge part of why I think YouTube Rewind fell off. Remember how huge of a cultural event those used to be? Every single year we'd look forward to what they had in store. Whether you were a creator or a consumer, it was a huge thing to look forward to. And then they progressively got worse until they just kinda stopped.
Yeah.
And I think the downfall of YouTube Rewind was kind of a little signal for where internet culture was headed. Sometimes it's hard to cover everything that happened in a year when everyone is in their own little space and putting different levels of importance on certain cultural events. The world moves very fast now, so much so that in a week, something can be the biggest news and then be completely forgotten. But I think the biggest thing we can blame for the downfall of monoculture is, drumroll please, TikTok. When TikTok first started, it was largely innocent. Just a couple of kids dancing around to trending songs and doing cringe challenges. But over time, especially after the pandemic, things started to change. It went from an app for silly challenges to an app that had an algorithm that could provide you with the themes and topics that you loved most, and then eventually put you in your own little echo chamber where you know of nothing else going on in the world except what is fed to you. Now, instead of everyone being in one big bubble of media to consume, we're all just kinda doing our own thing. So guess what? If you like woman-hating alpha male slop content, that's all you're gonna get. If you like politics and participating in mass discourse about it online, that's what you're gonna get more of. A couple of months ago, I made a video where I basically pointed out that the concept of a celebrity doesn't even exist in this modern age. And I think the death of monoculture has a huge factor to play in that. Kai Cenat and iShowSpeed can walk into one room and be treated like gods, but then walk into another and be complete nobodies. No one thing is unanimously a huge topic of conversation anymore, because people have different algorithms. The most recent cultural event that I can think of that had people in a chokehold was the Drake and Kendrick beef last year. That was the first time in a while where it truly felt like the whole world was aware of this huge thing that was going on. But I think a large part of that is because they are megastars who came from an era where monoculture still existed. Their beef was on everyone's radar because they were the last two megastars of the genre left. If Playboy Cardi and Lil Baby for some reason had beef, it'd be big news just for rap fans, but to the rest of the world, they wouldn't even know there was anything going on to begin with, provided they even know who those people are. Artists today can't even truly be mainstream. Even the most popular musicians feel like they're part of some kind of subculture. Mainstream doesn't even exist anymore if you think about it. Now, whether that's a good or bad thing is up to you to decide. The death of monoculture just hasn't affected how we consume media, but how we connect as human beings. We're now lonelier than ever, either because your algorithm shows you things that give you a very negative outlook on life, or you just can't find anyone in your real life who's into the same niches that you are and that you can connect and bond over. I hope one day somehow we can have a revival in the way media is consumed, because it was way easier to have a conversation with someone over whatever was going on in the world, because it was the thing everyone knew and talked about. Now everyone is in their own little bubble and it's harder for us to form genuine connections with one another. Or maybe it's not that deep and I'm looking too much into it, which would kind of defeat the whole point of this video, but hey, you watched until the end, so you've got to agree with something. But with that being said, that's all from me today. Give me your thoughts in the comments section. I'd really be curious to what you guys think about this topic. So like the video, comment, and subscribe to your boy. Y'all stay safe and I'm out.
I want to reach 1 million likes. So please, sarapakarai.